today we're building the best budget gaming setup under $1,000. We're gonna buy everything, build everything, and then test it in the end. Now the first part I bought was the monitor, and this is something a lot of people find hard to decide on. Basically the only thing I was really looking for was high refresh rate, and besides that I tried to stay as budget as possible, and while searching, Amazon really seemed to push the Scepter brand. Okay, so this monitor is 27-inch, it's 165 Hz, so that's what we're looking for. However, there is a downside. I know there's gonna be comments about the monitor being 1080p. Usually 1080p is fine for 24-inch monitors, but then when you go to 27-inch and the screen gets a bit bigger, you kinda see the pixels, you wanna go for 1440p. However, that's absolutely too expensive for a budget-minded gaming setup, and just in general, 24-inch is small, I want a 27-inch one. Okay, that sounded really weird. This is one of those things where I don't get why people don't take it too seriously. Everyone, including my friends, always focus on the PC and they kinda forget the monitor. The screen is pretty heavy, it's also very thick at the bottom. The top here is very slim, so it feels kinda premium right here. Doesn't really look premium at the bottom though. Alright, now this is very handy. It does come with an HDMI cable, so that saves you already about $12. Little correction, we did look up the price. It's about $5, but $5 is $5, especially in a budget setup like this one. Alright, so you do have to assemble the stand yourself, however, it's very easy. There's also a screwdriver, even with protection on top that you have to pull off. Like, what is this? The stand also attaches to the monitor with 4 simple screws. I think we can also finish it by reapplying the plastic cover that came with it. Look at that. This is definitely a great size for a monitor. Final correction, apparently it's a DisplayPort cable instead of HDMI, which kind of makes sense with a higher refresh rate. Let's plug it in. I think this is absolutely worth it. Now before we check out the microphone and the keyboard, I want to quickly thank the sponsor of today's video, Owned. Owned.tv is a stream graphics website where you can buy completely animated overlay packages for your stream. They have packs tailored to Twitch, Kick, YouTube, and on the product page there's a live demo button that will show you exactly how the alert will look on your stream. You can also test the transition, they are always completely animated, and the pack you're looking at right now is the Dark Mode series. This is my favorite pack from the website. However, if this pack doesn't fit your style, they have a huge library of graphics packs. You can check out all of them by clicking the link in the description, and don't forget to use my code TVN for a huge discount. My link is owned.tv/TVN. Now finding the microphone wasn't that easy because I've tested a lot of them in the past. There's a lot of great budget options. However, I think I found 3 great options for different scenarios. Now, what you see a lot here is this one, the Fifine Ampli Game. It's a great one. It's also RGB, so that's great. However, there's another Fifine mic, the Fifine K669B, and this is one of the most popular budget microphones ever. And as you can see, it's from the same brand, but it costs almost $10 less. And I did compare both mics in a previous video, and they sounded extremely similar. However, you probably know, or maybe you don't, but the microphone arm is absolutely the biggest upgrade for a mic. Much better than applying effects, also much better than spending a bit more on a mic. The quality of it doesn't really matter. The microphone isn't heavy. $16, that's pretty much the cheapest we're gonna find. They're all the same, they come from the same factory, they're just rebranded. It doesn't really matter. Get the cheapest mic arm you can find. Alright, now the microphones are here. We have a few of them to test. Now I think most of you are going to be interested in this one here, but this one is the cheaper Fifine microphone, and I do think that they sound pretty much the same and that you're just paying a bit more for the RGB. However, I do have a third option. I'm not sure if I talked about this while buying the microphones. This is the Elgato Wave 1. The mixer software that this microphone comes with is amazing. It's Elgato Wave Link. And then lastly, I also have a microphone arm. This is the single best upgrade you can make to your microphone quality. This will bring the microphone closer to your mouth, which will make it sound warmer, which will reduce background noise. Now, while building this setup, I kinda forgot to install the microphone arm. However, as I said while buying everything, most of these cheap microphone arms are about the same. They all come with a simple desk clamp, the arm goes into that, and then most of them come with a universal pop filter, and then with another one that will fit on most studio mics. Now, even if I didn't install it in the setup, at the end I will test all the microphones and I will hold them closer to my mouth to let you hear how they would sound on a microphone arm like this, and I will also link it in the description. I'm gonna put the microphones over here for a second. Now for the keyboard, this was a bit hard because there's many different types of keyboards. You have really big ones, then you have 60%, you have mechanical, which a lot of people like, some people don't want it. So what I did is I looked for 3 mechanical keyboards of different price points, and then I wanted to compare that. This is the first one. It's very cheap. Not that $30 is nothing, but if you're looking for a mechanical keyboard, usually they are more expensive. So the second keyboard we're gonna try is this one, a Red Dragon or Redragon. I still don't know. This was $60. And then the other one that I have right here is a bit more expensive. It also has a lot of great reviews. It comes in a few different sizes. I have the TKL version, and I'm gonna compare the keyboards in terms of weight, build quality, how they sound. Now we should check which switches they have. So this one has linear red switches. That's amazing. This also has red switches, so it's also gonna be linear. And then this one, the cheapest one, this also says red switches, but I think they're gonna be questionable. So I'm really looking forward to comparing all of them. All right, we have a very budget one, then we have a budget one, and then one that's almost out of the budget range. However, I feel like this is gonna be great price quality. I've used it before, I can't remember, so we're gonna test it. This is from my Galaxy streaming setup. It is mechanical, it is cheap, but it does feel crappy. It also sounds crappy. You can hear the spring on the inside. If you want a keyboard just for the aesthetics in your setup, it does look pretty clean. It's 60%, it's white, it has RGB if you turn it on. And this one should be a bit more premium. You cannot hear the springs on the inside, so that's a plus already. It does feel pretty decent to use. Since this one is from HyperX, maybe more people will trust it. It's also definitely the heaviest one, and I have to admit, it does feel better to type on. So these are red linear switches. I'm not gonna say it's a premium custom keyboard feeling when you type on it, but it's definitely decent quality, and I think this is the best option in this video. So the HyperX keyboard does come with a USB-C cable, and on the back there's also adjustable feet. There's 3 stances. So this is the highest one that is very tilted, but you can also go for a slightly tilted stand, and I think that's what I like the best. Now for the budget gaming mouse, I kind of knew what I was going for because I have one big favorite. So what I did is I bought a great budget wired mouse and then a great budget wireless one. It was the Razer Death Adder, and it's a very budget-friendly mouse. It costs $25. It has 2 side buttons, and it's overall just a great budget-minded mouse. Now, if you're looking for a wireless mouse, I think this one is a great option. I've been using this for a long time. It's definitely not a light mouse, so if you're into that, this won't be a good option. And I forgot the name, but it must be the Logitech. I think it's G305. Yes, it is. So as you can see, about $10 more. All right, now I might be repeating myself, but this mouse is very special for me as it was my first ever gaming mouse. But this is still a great budget gaming mouse. It is wired, however, some people don't like that, but if you want to keep it budget, you'll have to. And as I talk about while buying, this is a wireless option, the G305 Lightspeed, and it is powered by a AA battery. This might be a disadvantage to a lot of people because it does make the mouse pretty heavy. However, it's very easy to just replace the battery, pop the cover on again, and keep going. So this is a decent wireless mouse option. Now the PC I'm gonna use in this budget gaming setup is one that I built in a previous video, and as you can see, the selling point of this PC was 1080p 144 FPS, and that's exactly what we need because our monitor is 1080p and it supports 160 Hz. So this PC is gonna be perfect. Now before publishing the video, I will check the specs and I will see if there are some better deals at that moment. So it will either be this kit page right here, which by the way has a completely in-depth building video. However, if the PC needs an update, I will link a new page in the description. There's also something important I need to tell you about this budget PC. We have another stick of RAM, but more on that later. We do have a few more parts to install. Now, finding a mousepad was also pretty tricky because a lot of people like these custom mousepads that are very big, like this one for example, which is one that I sell myself, but that's not a budget option. But I think I found 2 great options. Now, if you don't care about aesthetics or you just want a simple mousepad for next to your keyboard, then I think this is a great option. It was the first one I ever had. It's the SteelSeries QCK gaming mousepad. There's a few sizes. The large one for next to your keyboard is about $15. I think I might have it in my warehouse, so I will check that out. So I have 2 mousepads here, and you can see that they've definitely been used extensively, which proves that I really believe in these types of mouse pads. I know there's very pretty mouse pads you can buy. I even sell my own mouse pads. However, if you're looking for a budget setup, then what you should be looking for is an area that covers your mouse movements. The SteelSeries mousepad I have is the medium version, but if you want to get the large one, which is about the same size as the HyperX mousepad, it will be about $15. The HyperX mousepad comes at around $17, but it's much thicker and feels more premium. However, I have used the SteelSeries mousepad for a very long time and the edges are still fine, so you can buy either one. Now for the budget gaming headset, the #1 best-selling on Amazon, had a crazy amount of reviews. However, if you look at the product pictures, this looks like an AliExpress headset. It might be a decent one, but I don't really like this look, so I did scroll a bit further to find some other options because I don't want a cheap looking headset. I did see an interesting one here, actually two, and it's two headsets that I have. The HyperX Cloud 2, this is extremely popular. This is a great headset, but it's $80, so if you want to spend a bit more on a headset, this might be a good option. However, I saw the younger brother here, the HyperX Cloud Stinger. Now at first I had the wireless version. I think this was around $50 and I really liked it. I even used it for a while, and then I saw that there's a wired version which is only $19.99. This is a great budget headset. It looks like a normal product, which is what I'm looking for. So I'm probably gonna compare this one here to then this much cheaper version of the same brand. The headset was kind of tricky because I didn't find it, and I looked in my warehouse database and apparently it was ready to be sold. Now there is a small problem with this headset because in my database it says that I bought this for $50. However, when I was looking for all the stuff, it said it costed $20, so maybe it was a temporary big sale, or maybe this headset is just cheap now. You'll have to look it up. If this headset costs around $20, it's a great deal. I've used the wireless version before and it sounded perfectly fine, especially for $19 or $20. Then the second headset I talked about is the HyperX Cloud Stinger. It's around $70 to $80, but it's a high quality headset. But you should definitely not feel like you have to buy this headset to have a good one, because the Stinger is absolutely fine as well. By the way, before I forget, during the buying process, I also forgot to talk about the desk. What I chose is an IKEA Linman table. I did build this in a previous video. It arrived a bit broken, so the corners are very scuffed. However, it doesn't matter for this test setup. This table does come in different sizes. This version is 120 centimeters wide and about 60 deep. Now 60 centimeters is not very deep. However, a 27-inch monitor is not that big, so it's absolutely fine. And if you don't like the white look of this, there's a wooden option on Amazon which is about the same price and about the same size. I will definitely link both options in the description together with everything, by the way, as well as all the parts that are in this PC here. Now what I wanted to talk about is the RAM here. During the time of building this PC, there was kind of a trend on YouTube of using one single stick of 8GB memory and then adding an extra stick afterwards when you have the money for it. A few weeks ago I did use this PC myself in my apartment and even leak went very slow. However, when I replaced the sticks with 16GB of memory, everything went butter smooth, so I definitely wouldn't advise you to use one stick of 8GB. Alright, I'm gonna test the microphone. I already turned on this one, the Fifine Ampli game. You can also mute it and then the RGB goes off. By the way, look at how it shows up in OBS Studio, Fifine K669B, and that's actually the name of this microphone. So as I said while buying everything, I'm very convinced that both microphones use the same internals, but they just made an RGB version for people who want to pay a bit more for that. Alright, so I'm using the Fifine Ampli game right now. It's on my desk pretty far away from my mouth. When I move it closer and closer, you will hear that it will sound warmer and warmer. Let's plug in the Fifine K669B now, but I think it's just gonna sound the same. Alright, so now the Fifine K669B, the real one, is connected, and this is how it sounds on my desk. And then when I move it closer to my mouth, I'm pretty convinced that it's gonna sound the same as the Ampli game. So let's plug in the Elgato Wave microphone now. This is a microphone that you shouldn't only get for the sound quality. The sound quality is great, by the way. Also, when I move it closer to my mouth, this is a very warm microphone. I've used this in the past, but part of the reason to get the Elgato Wave is for the Elgato Wavelink software, which allows you to control what your stream hears, what you hear yourself. However, if you're not a streamer and this is just a gaming setup, then this microphone might not be the best choice. Alright, now Overwatch just installed. I can already hear it in my headphones. This sounds really good, by the way, and I will quickly switch to the headset microphone because you can also hear what that sounds like. I think it's definitely usable, obviously not as good as a microphone. I'll also quickly switch to this headset so you can hear that microphone. Ooh, now the sound quality definitely isn't that bad, especially if it's much cheaper than the other one. So if the big discount is still going and you can get the HyperX Cloud for about $20 to $30, I would definitely advise getting it as a budget headset. headset.
Alright, now there's not much that I can change about this microphone. I think it's gonna be pretty crappy.
You can mute the microphone by turning this upwards.
Like this, it turns back on.
There is a switch on the side, but this is for the overall volume, which is kind of cheap to use this. Now, if you're getting this monitor, make sure your game doesn't look at 60 Hz. This one is for 165. Oh wow, and the difference is actually insane. Even for this budget gaming setup, going with high refresh rate and then 1080p is definitely the choice for a budget PC like this. By the way, if you want to see behind the scenes of this channel, of everything we're doing here, you can follow us on Instagram. There are stories daily about what we're doing. I will link all the products in the description. Besides that, this video will probably be interesting to you. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope that I will see you in the next one. Have a nice day.